Hey guys, what's up? This is Dorian, and today I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about the release date of Legion, I want to talk about the things that worry me about Legion, and I want to talk about the shutdown of Nostralius. Let's start off with the release date of Legion. The release date of Legion is 30th of August 2016. Now, for me personally, the release date is like a double-edged sword. On one side, it's way too far away for everybody who's waiting for a new expansion, who wants to play WoW again, who wants to get out of Warlords Surrender. It's too far away. On the other hand, now that Blizzard is taking 4 months and is releasing the game at 30th of August, Blizzard is taking this ocean of time to develop Legion. So, even though it's far away, Blizzard doesn't have any excuses why Legion should be a bad expansion. Because Blizzard cannot say we did not have enough time to develop this or that. They cannot say we did not have enough time to test stuff. Blizzard is taking this ocean of time, and if you take this ocean of time for your new expansion, it should be a diamond of an expansion. It should be perfect, because they have plenty of development time, they have an ocean of time to test everything, they have an ocean of time to make sure there's enough content for everybody, for all the players, and so they're out of excuses. So Blizzard is putting themselves up on the wall. They're with the backs on the wall, because if Legion sucks right now, they're out of excuses. They have no excuse why Legion should be bad. And that brings me to the things that worry me about Legion. The first thing that worries me a lot, and keep in mind that I'm not a PvP player myself, is that they said that Blizzard said themselves that they are not making new battlegrounds or arenas for the PvP community. And this is one of the biggest things that worry me right now. And the reason why that worries me so much is that, once again, you have this ocean of time. You take so much time to develop Legion. How come you can't throw in 2 new battlegrounds and 2 new arenas in this ocean of time? This 16 months of Hellfire Citadel we're going to get, and they were already working on Legion when Warlords Adrena was just released, and still they can't make new battlegrounds, new arenas. And Blizzard said in a post that with Demon Hunters into the battlegrounds and arenas, all the battlegrounds will feel new and fresh again. No, Blizzard, they won't. Still the same arenas, still the new battlegrounds. Now, keep in mind that the last time the community the PvP community saw any new battlegrounds or arenas was in Mist of Pandaria. That's more than 3 years ago that these players have any new content. I believe it's almost 4 years now that they have seen any new arenas or battlegrounds. Keep in mind, we had 14 months of Siege of Warcraft. Now we have 16 months of Hellfire Citadel. It's been like 3 years, more than 3 years, since the PvP community has seen anything new, which is really worrying me. And the fact that my heart goes out to the PvP community, because PvP is something that is a kind of a big esports right now. It's something which keeps World of Warcraft on the map as well. And the PvP players making a lot of YouTube movies, they're playing a lot of tournaments, they're giving World of Warcraft and Blizzard a lot of PR, but they're not getting new battlegrounds. I could say that they got a new battleground with Ashran, but I see personally Ashran not as a really good battleground. I've played in there, I leveled or I geared a warrior in there and a hunter in there just to experience it. And yeah, it's a battleground, but it's a lot of PvE in there. I don't want to call it really a new battleground. So, with not counting in Ashran, I would say it's been like 3 years since they got any new battlegrounds or arenas, and I think that worries me. That signal worries me that in this ocean of development time for Legion, they cannot throw in 2 new battlegrounds and 2 new arenas, that signal worries me that they're not able to do that. That's something, how can they not do that? Which brings me to the following, is the content for Legion is one thing that worries me as well, is we only have 4 zones to level in. Because Suramar is a max level zone, so we have 4 zones. And from everybody who's playing the alpha, and I'm not in the alpha, but from every YouTuber, every streamer, some of my friends who are in the alpha saying that the zones are great, they're fantastic, and it's really, really good. I'm glad to hear that, I really am. But if you do them the first time, if you for the first time going through those 4 zones, it's going to be amazing. The storytelling is very good. The stories have some good plot twists, I've been told. So yeah. But the first time you do it is amazing. The second time may be fun. But the third time you're like, yeah, I know what is coming. I know what story is ahead. And the fourth time you're gonna be bored. And a lot of people right now have a lot of alts. Alts is really a thing. I mean, usually people have about 4 characters right now. I think that's average, about 4 to 5 characters. And the first 1 or 2 times you're going through those 4 zones is going to be amazing. But the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, it's going to be boring because there is no variation in there. And that's something that is, once again, worrying me. If you look back at the Burning Crusade, you could start in Hellfire Peninsula, go to Zion Marsh, and then let's say you go to Terraca Forest, then you go to Underground, and then you go to Shadowmoon to reach level 70. But if you wanted to do it differently, you could start in Hellfire Peninsula, go to Zion Marsh, go to, let's say, Terraca Forest, Underground, then take a right, go to Blade Edge, go to Netherstorm. Or you would level to 60 in Vanilla WoW, then skip Hellfire Peninsula, go into Zion Marsh, do some Terraca Forest, do some Blade Edge, do some Nagrand. Usually people would do Nagrand. And then you do some Blade Edge and some Shadowmoon. I mean, you could choose these variations of where to go, which zones you wanted to do to get to level 70, which would keep the leveling interesting. Because every time you would level, you would pick a different route, what you wanted to do. That choice has been gone since Mist of Pandaria. In Keta we could choose between Vashir and Mount Hajal. But even though once you pick one of the starting areas, then you need to go down this road following the other zones. Same in Mist of Pandaria, we had to do the same zones over and over again, and we had the same in Wallace of Draenor, you need to do the same 5 zones. And now we're down to 4 zones, and that worries me, because there's no variation for people who have multiple characters. And then finally, what I want to talk about is the dungeons in Legion, which worry me. Is that because we get 10 dungeons, if I'm correct, in Legion. They look really good. They really look amazing. I've been told from the people, once again, my friends who are playing the alpha, and the YouTubers I watch and the streamers, that most dungeons are fun. They look very cool. They play very cool. Everybody's kind of enjoying the dungeons, and that's great to hear. But we have this new challenge mode system with the keystones, and you can upgrade your keystone to, I believe, level 25 as max. In Mist of Pandaria, we only had 10 dungeons. We never got any new dungeons. Same in Wallace of Draenor. We never got any new dungeons. Now with the keystone, there is this chance that Blizzard is looking at how many people are actually reaching max level keystone, and Blizzard is looking at the stats saying like, oh, only 10% of you have reached level 25 keystone. Let's assume level 25 is really hard to get to. And they're like, there's no new reason for us to make new dungeons, because a lot of the community did not reach max level keystone for all the dungeons. Which is not an excuse for not making new dungeons, because even we have these keystones that are changing the dungeons and giving us new tactics, it's still the same environment. It's the same shit with Hellfire Citadel. We can do it in 4 difficulties. It's still the same environment, and at some point it gets really, really boring. Instead of having a new, fresh raid with a new environment, a fresh environment, fresh bosses, you're doing the same bosses with slightly different tactics. At some point it's just getting really boring. So I'm worried that because of the keystone, Blizzard has an excuse of not making new dungeons. And that's something that worries me. I'm not saying they will not make new dungeons. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 new dungeons every patch in Legion. We'll see. I mean, but it's just that it might give them this excuse to not making new dungeons. So those are my worries for Legion. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of those worries. If you share them with me, yes or no. And now I want to get over to Nostralius. The shutdown of Nostralius, in my opinion, is really a sad thing. My heart goes out to all the people who played on Nostralius. You guys, my heart goes out to the 30-man team of Nostralius who developed this great server. There was a great community. I'm really sad all you guys have to stop doing what you love to do. Now, the way Blizzard approached the whole Nostralius thing is completely wrong. I've read their blue post. I was waiting for a reaction from them before I would make a video. So I've read the blue post about 3 times. I do not agree with a lot of things they said in that blue post. That they're saying like, yeah, it's a discussion even after hours debating about it and all the kind of stuff, and we've been debating it for years. No, you don't. You never did that, Blizz. I'm not buying that. I do believe you've been discussing it over the last 2 weeks, and I think the whole legacies server discussion, you guys Blizzard never wanted to make that, so they never discussed it. It was very clear what they said at the BlizzCon a few years ago. Like, they said to the guy, you think you do, but you don't, which is really a rude answer. It's really, really wrong. So the discussion was closed from day one. What I do understand, and what I need everybody to understand, is that Blizzard needs to protect their IP. They're completely right in that, because here's the thing: if they would Nostralius allow to exist, and somebody else would steal, would do something with a different game, with Overwatch, Diablo, with anything, Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone, and they would try to take those people to court, and you have Nostralius up and running, the defense of those of the people trying to steal their IP would say like, yeah, but you have this huge server up, Nostralius, and you're not doing anything about that, but you are suing me, and then Blizzard would not be able to defend their IP anymore. So Blizzard needs to defend their IP. I get that. But it's also a matter of how you treat this. First of all, what Blizzard does not realize that the 30 people who worked on the server and all the community, the entire community of Nostralius, were working on this private server and playing on this private server because they love the game. They love World of Warcraft. And I think what Blizzard is not seeing, what they're totally missing, is that this is the biggest compliment they can get as a game developer. That so many people love their 11-year-old game. How much game developers can say that 150,000 people are playing their 11-year-old game? How many game developers can say like there are 800,000 active accounts registered to an 11-year-old game? Not much. Not much at all. So what Blizzard does here is that they're kind of shitting on their fans. Blizzard needs to understand that the people who are playing on this are their fan base. It's basically their player base. It's the fans who love this game. The fans who actually absolutely adore World of Warcraft are playing on there. Even though it's the whole discussion for free or not, it doesn't matter. It's your fan base, and you're kind of shitting on them. Because at some point, Nostralius kept on growing and growing, and at some point, Blizzard just slapped the cease to exist order, which said that if they wouldn't shut down, they would sue them and take them to court, which is really rude. It's a really rude way of communicating. What Blizzard should have done was send an open letter or an open email to the developers of Nostralius, and an open letter to all the players playing on that. And this is how you shut down. If you want to shut it down, this is how you do it. It's like Blizzard needed to send a letter and say that you guys, that this great team of Nostralius and the entire fan base and player base on Nostralius is playing our 11-year-old game, is the biggest compliment we can get as a company. We absolutely adore the fact that you guys are still in love with our game that we made 11 years ago. Sadly, due to that we need to protect our IP, we have to shut down Nostralius, otherwise we can't protect our IP anymore. But we understand this is a really sad thing. We understand that you guys all took a really a lot of time and effort into this Nostralius server, and we all understand that you are enjoying this game. Now that Legion is so far away to the 30th of August of 2016, we would recommend that Nostralius would shut down on 29th of August, so that the moment you shut down Nostralius, the community of Nostralius, if they wish to, they can buy Legion and get into the next new expansion. Then there is something new and fresh for them. And that we as Blizzard really appreciate that you guys are having so much fun on our 11-year-old game. We really appreciate that you have so much love for it and that you put all your time and energy into that. We want to thank you for enjoying that game. We want to thank you for running this absolutely great server. Sad enough, for legal reasons, we have to shut it down, but only shut it down on 29th of August, so that if the player base wants to, we have a new expansion for them which they can play the day that Nostralius goes down. That would be the letter Blizzard had to send to the player base and the developers of Nostralius. Because first of all, you acknowledge the fact that these people are your fans and that you are really happy that your fans are still in love with your 11-year-old game and that you appreciate that they love your game so much, that they love your product so much. And secondly, you explain why you're shutting it down. And thirdly, if you would let Nostralius up and running to 29th of August, then at 30th of August 2016, they could jump into Legion. And with this ocean of time, Legion should be great. So now these people are bored for the next 4 months because Warlords of Draenor sucks. I mean, I don't want to go into that, but if you look at the paper, if you look at the sub numbers, Warlords of Draenor, and Blizzard knows this, Warlords of Draenor is their worst expansion ever. And now these people are mad because all of a sudden Blizzard is like, oh, a lot of people are playing on this private server and they're taking a baseball bat and hitting everybody in the face with a cease to exist and threatening to take the people who are running it to court, which is really rude to all those fans that is playing their game, their 11-year-old game. Those people love that game, are still fans of World of Warcraft. You don't shit where you eat. This is not a way to treat your fans. So that's why my example letter is that you have to acknowledge your fan base. You have to acknowledge that those people love your game. You have to praise them for it, thank them for it, explain why you were shutting it down, and then at least give them the choice to play Legion. Let the server exist for another 4 months so that guilds can raid, so that people can level or play or enjoy that nostalgia for till 29th of August and then get into Legion at 30th of August. That would be amazing. At least there's something new and fresh waiting for them if Nostralius stops. If they don't want to buy Legion and don't want to get into Legion, that's their choice. But at least there's a new, the new chapter of World of Warcraft is open for them and they can try it out if they wish to. And if you treat that way your fan base and your player base, the players won't be so angry because the only thing that happened at some point, Blizzard just sent that letter and said like, hey, you either shut it down in 2 weeks or we'll sue you. It's so rude. It's the same with the guy asking the legit question, like, are you thinking about making servers for old expansions? No, you think you do. You don't want that either. You think you do, but you don't. It's a really rude answer. Blizzard has to learn how to communicate better with their player and fanbase, because all this rude way they're communicating with us brings up a lot of hate in the community. Now, what I want to say about the community is that even though Blizzard is not always really smart and not always really nice about communicating, I'm doubting they're doing it on purpose. We should take a chill pill as a community and stop with raging. If Blizzard is a little bit rusty, not really good with communicating towards us, let at least show us as a community how to communicate. Give feedback, don't start raging. Raging will just put you on an ignore list, and Blizzard is not gonna listen to the haters. If Blizzard is not really that good of communicating with us as a player base, let's show them as a player base how to communicate with Blizzard. Give feedback, stay calm, make good arguments, yeah? Don't go into rape modes, don't go calling names, don't go do shitty things on forums because it won't help your case. Okay, that's my point about it. So this is my thoughts about Legion and about Nostralius. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye bye.